a lot of times, we attorneys of color, we may get invites to, like you said, the dinners, the networking events, and we might take a pass because we're like, there's probably, like you said, there's probably not going to be folks, other colleagues that look like me that I can connect with. But you took a different approach. You said, you know what, let me just jump off the deep end. What the heck? Let me show up and see what happens. Where did that come from? Or is that just a natural part of you? It's like,
No,
let me just do it.
trust me. I mean, I want to be comfortable. I want to have a good time, but I actually hated. I hated it. I dreaded going to these events, but I
Wow.
knew it was going to be instrumental in me growing as an attorney, in me finding those mentors that I needed. And trust me, I was in rooms and people weren't always nice to me. You know, one of the things that I did was I would kind of challenge myself. I say,
Mhm.
okay, Beverly, you need to go to this event. So this is what you're going to do. I would set a goal. I would set a goal to talk to at least three people,
Okay.
at the event. And I said, look, all you got to do, you don't have to stay long. It was maybe a dinner or a reception or some kind of program. I would say, look, I would have my pep talk like when I was playing basketball. Okay, this is what you're going to do in the game. You're going to try to score like 15 points. By halftime, you're going to have 10 of those. So the second half, you just going to relax. You can get 5. So I would have these kind of, in budgeting, we call it performance measures, right?
Okay.
These performance marks. And so, which is what I did before being a tax attorney, I did budgeting. But I would say, okay, you're going to talk to 3 people. As soon as you talk to 3 people, you can leave. And I would do this reward system for myself. And the reward system was, depending on how I was feeling, it was either after I talked to 3 people, I would either buy myself ice cream, and I would not spare any. I wouldn't be cheap with myself. I would go straight to Cold Stone. I ain't talking about going
Oh,
to. I'm not talking about
yes.
going to the store, right, and buying a popsicle. No, I'm like, okay, you can go to Cold Stone. Cold Stone is like five,
That's
six
the
dollars.
good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff. I say now, my dad would be rolling over in his grave right now if he knew I went and bought a $7 one serving ice cream as opposed to a whole bucket of ice cream, right? So I would say, okay, you're going to, and at that time I didn't have a whole lot of money either. Because remember, I was graduating with $100,000 in student loan debt. So my focus was really trying to pay down my debt. But I did reward myself. I said, okay, hey, you can buy yourself an ice cream. Or if I was really having one of them hard days, I said, you could buy yourself an alcoholic drink. You can go to the bar, you can buy yourself a drink. Either way, I was going to treat myself.
All right.
And that's what I did repeatedly. And when I got into the room, I would talk to 3 people. Mostly they were white men, you know, and I would go down, I would check off the list. Okay, that's 1 down. And then that's 2 down. Okay, babe, you almost there. You almost there. That's 3 down, right? And so it got to a point where the same people were always in the same rooms. And so we began to get comfortable with each other. So as time went on, I would walk into the room and people would be like, "What's up, Bev? How you doing?" And we're talking like older white men, right? Because
Yeah.
that's who dominates this profession. And the other thing I found is my connection to a lot of them, because I didn't have kids, I wasn't married, so that
Mhm.
was kind of like a level of discomfort in the beginning because people would just automatically assume, "Hey, how's your?" That's just an easy point of reference for people. But for me, it was basketball. It was sports. I began to talk to them about, and March Madness. Oh my God. I could talk to them for days about any team that was playing in college basketball.
Wow.
So it began to be fun for me, and it began to be a game. Like, okay, what new person am I going to meet today? So it went from 3 people now to I'm talking to like 6 people.
So I love that, because what could have been a cause for you to alienate yourself and keep yourself out of it, you turned it on its head and you're like, no, I'm going to use this to my advantage. And you did, and you found something that clicked. And it wasn't just, I know we talked off camera about this, but it wasn't just in basketball. It was in other sports too, right?
Yeah, I could talk about golf because I play golf.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about volleyball because I played volleyball. One of the judges that sits on the tax court, his daughter played volleyball. So I
Mm-hmm.
found that out. I began to talk to him about volleyball and how she was doing. So for me, it was always listening, trying to find the point of connection for people.
Yeah, no, and that's key, and that's I wanted to focus on that, or bring attention to that for everybody that's listening, that that's a tip, that's a takeaway. Find something where you can actually connect with other people in the room and use it, exploit it, work it, because Beverly can work a room, even if it's her 3 at a time or 4 at a time. She's gonna get that ice cream, she's gonna get that drink.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my ice cream now. Strawberry blonde. That was the one. That's what I would do.
Ooh.
It had the graham crackers, the chocolate chips, the white chocolate chips,
Oh my
the
gosh.
pineapples. Yeah.
Now I'm like getting hungry and couldn't go.